Welcome to New York City. We're sharing all the restaurants, cafes, and what we got up to on a relaxing, long weekend spring trip. We come to New York yearly to see family, and we love mixing in some touristy things while also taking it slow and exploring new spots. So follow along for a ton of walking, a ton of eating, and some great neighborhoods in the city. We started our first morning hunting for a really cool listening bar cafe space that we had heard about in Brooklyn. We are staying in the northern Brooklyn area for this trip, and we made our way down to Boerum Hill area, which was a new spot for us. Luckily, the spot wasn't too busy and we were able to grab a table to enjoy our food. A black sesame croissant and polenta cake to eat, coffee, and a citrusy mocktail to drink. I love the idea of listening bar cafes. A spot where the acoustics of the room are optimized and when you're encouraged to listen to music rather than talk loudly. Although this spot was out of the way for us, I loved the visit. We figured that since we were here, we'd walk off our breakfast around the nearby Cobble Hill area and make our way north through some other neighborhoods of Brooklyn.
We had a nice stop in the coffee shop, but this neighborhood's really nice. Yeah, we're walking across lots of brownstones. The trees are blooming.
I really like it here, and the weather is amazing.
Making our way up Court Street, it felt pretty different to other parts of the city, with St. Paul's Church towering over the brownstones and other 19th century buildings. It was still definitely New York, but with a bit of a historic and kind of charming vibe. As we got closer to downtown Brooklyn though, the buildings got a bit taller, the streets a bit busier. Downtown is not really my favorite part of Brooklyn, but there's some cool historic buildings, like the town hall, and after a morning of walking, we could catch our breath a bit at some of the various parks. It's also where we were able to find some chain restaurants for some takeout, which we will enjoy shortly with a nicer view.
We walked all the way down Court Street, and we're trying to reach the water. And we have lunch.
Super sunny.
Coffee plug.
Perfect day for this. Glad we wore sunscreen.
Yeah. Here's my kava bowl. I got a lot of stuff on a bed of arugula and black lentils. And honestly, there's just so much stuff, and I love the sauce here. That's why we always get it.
Dumbo is not really a secret, but in spite of the crowds, it's still a really cool spot to visit. The waterfront area is so beautiful, the views can't be beat, and there's decent shopping around too. If it's a nice day, it's great to walk along the river and obviously grab a bite to eat on a bench. Next up, we're going to another New York classic, walking on the Brooklyn Bridge. Again, it's something most first-time tourists do in the city, but I think it's something that still doesn't get old, particularly on a sunny day and, crucially, when it's not too hot. Remember, there's no shade on the bridge. The Manhattan Bridge is a good, less crowded alternative to the Brooklyn Bridge, but we opted to go with the classic. As you step off the bridge on the Manhattan side, you'll end up near the financial district. If you're going to visit the Freedom Tower, Wall Street, or maybe the Tenement Museum, they're all nearby. However, we were pretty spent after this long day of walking. Time instead to sit down at a park, rest our feet a bit, and relax as we end our first day in the city. Morning number 2 was a little slow for us to get started, but we soon headed down to Mott Street near Chinatown for a quick lunch reservation. Thai Diner is a pretty popular spot and was super busy when we came. We ended up getting the khao soi and the Thai cheesesteak sandwich, plus the som tam salad to start. The cheesesteak was a pretty unique idea and the salad was great. A fun spot with great ambiance and drinks, but not really my favorite spot compared to, let's say, how popular it is. It was decent, but I just love Thai food and I'm a little bit picky when it comes to it. The walking on this day started in earnest after that meal. First, a quick glance around Chinatown. I really love walking around here, and there were so many cool photos to be taken in the neighborhood. I love the hustle and bustle here on a Saturday morning. From Chinatown, we linked up to Bleecker Street and made our way northwest up to the West Village, one of our favorite walks. I didn't film any shopping along the walk, but there's a lot to see on Bleecker Street. Mostly clothing, including some pretty niche smaller brands, which are always cool to check out. I love how this area feels both residential with tons of apartments, but also full of shopping, food, and entertainment. The last place I'll note, which is nearby, is the Village Vanguard, one of the most iconic spots for jazz music in the city. We ended up going to watch a show there this evening, but weren't able to take any photos or videos. If you have an appreciation for music, seeing some jazz is a must, either there or at one of the many other great spots in the city. For our afternoon plans, we decided to subway over to the Little Island and the Highline for some architectural tourism. This is yet another spot that I think still has value to visit even if you've already been. Starting at Chelsea Market, the Highline used to be an elevated train track running north-south. This area used to have a lot of factories, and the tracks helped ship goods in and out. Nowadays, it's been transformed into a trendy and green pedestrian path, and also an area where architects can show off their craft. The apartments along the Highline are built by some of the biggest names in the business. I also love crossing over each street and looking east or west down the road. You'll get great city views each time. Try to spot some iconic buildings as you do. A note if you're planning to visit, There was some construction on the Highline when we visited, and we had to take a detour at street level for several blocks. The Highline ends here at Hudson's Yard, a new development highlighted by a mall, the Edge viewpoint, and the Vessel, this honeycomb-looking art installation which you can visit for a fee. After a very treacherous city bike ride, we made it to our dinner spot. Steak arepa, nachos, and ropa vieja, a pulled beef dish with rice. This spot was awesome and the perfect way to end a long and fulfilling day. You find us now in Bushwick at one of the highest regarded cafes in the city. Say specializes in super lightly roasted coffees, which are really aimed at coffee fanatics. No lattes, no milk, no seasonal sugary drinks here. I personally don't drink my coffee black normally, but this was a really cool experience and the taste was unique. Very fruity and aromatic, different from any coffee I'd had before, and I really did like it. The orange drink was a tea which was decent. The cafe itself was also a really cool spot to hang out in and definitely got busy as the morning went on. After this hit of caffeine, we were ready to explore deeper into the neighborhood. Bushwick is known as a very up-and-coming or gentrified neighborhood. Lots of trendy people living here and an interesting arts, nightlife, and live music scene. It definitely looks unpolished and industrial, but there's some good spots to visit, such as this Piper Bleu, a stationery and art shop run by the YouTuber of the same name. It's full of handmade, quirky art pieces, many with stories behind them. Lastly, we hit up this weekend flea market and took a quick browse. We didn't really buy anything, but the range of items that they had was pretty impressive. To finish off our morning, we went back home for some late lunch. Back to one of our favorite spots, Jean Famous Foods, which has several locations in the city. The hand-pulled noodles are perfectly chewy and full of flavor. Quite spicy, but so good. On our last day, we had plans to visit something I've wanted to see for a while, the Met Cloisters. To get there, we first took the A subway line all the way up Manhattan, then it's a scenic walk up the hill to the museum. Going in, I knew it was a museum dedicated to the Middle Ages, and that it was in a cool historic building, but I didn't really know much else. We were in for a good surprise, as you'll see shortly. Now, the building here looks like a medieval monastery, but it's not really an authentic historical building in that sense. I'll explain in a minute. Firstly though, what is a cloister? Basically, it's a small garden area like the one pictured here, usually surrounded on four sides and is a feature of many medieval Western European monasteries. All the archways and ornaments here are authentic and taken from French or Spanish monasteries. Now, for the story of this place. In the early 1900s, an American sculptor named George Barnard moved to France and began amassing a collection of medieval art. He sold his collection to John D. Rockefeller Jr. in 1925, who agreed to fund this building, which put the artifacts on display to the public. The overall building then dates to the 1930s, but was designed around many fragments and walls from real medieval monasteries. Apart from the cloisters, the museum has parts of a couple chapels inside and an awesome collection of medieval art, which I didn't film. You'll have to see it for yourself. We came in time for one of the free tours, which was about an hour and very informative.
So we just got out of the Met Cloister, and it was, I think, bigger than we thought. It had a lot of art in there, purely medieval.
From different countries, well, mostly Western Europe, and slightly different time periods.
Yeah, I think the coolest part was the outdoor cloister areas and gardens included. Really nice when the weather's nice, and a lot of greenery that was also nice in springtime.
The weather was perfect today. Highly recommend going on a good day.
Our dinner reservation for tonight is in the Ukrainian village, and we're back for more Thai food, this time at Soother. Some of the dishes we got included the cow soy, chicken flat rice noodles, and masamum curry, all of which were amazing. An extra shout out goes to our dessert spot, Ray's Candy Store, bordering Tompkins Square Park. It's a community staple which has been owned and operated by the same couple for decades. As we close out our trip with some city shots, I'd say we were pretty happy with our itinerary. It's nice to slow down a bit and just enjoy the city. Not that we don't love a busy schedule for some trips, but it was great balancing the good classics with some new adventures. If you have some other good spots for our next New York trip, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.